What the dog doing?
So for a while now, I've heard of this amazing series called Chainsaw Man. I would see it all over Instagram, like the memes, obviously, we know them. I've, of course, seen this really cool character called Power, and I was like, well, this series looks really fucking cool. But I'm probably just going to wait for the anime to come out and experience it that way, right? Because, I mean, Mappa's doing it, looks amazing, cannot wait to, watch it. Then the second trailer dropped. And I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm binge reading this bitch. And about a month ago, I did. I binge read all of it except for the last arc, but it was in 2 days. Honestly, I've kind of forgot most of it. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I wanna take my channel in a direction to do anime content. But yeah, welcome to my review of Chainsaw Man. Today we'll be taking a look at the first arc in the series, the intro arc. This will consist of the first 3 chapters, and that's about it, really. Let's get into this. Cue the anime intro. Let's go. Chainsaw Man is a 2018 manga series written by Tatsuki Fujimoto, or Fujimoto Tatsuki. We start off by seeing Denji, and he's talking about how much money he's gained in a literal sense, selling his body parts. Poor guy who we know nothing about at this moment in time has given up so much. And then we see still how much he has owed. First page, we see that this guy is already suffering a lot. But hey, maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe this thing Denji kills, it'll earn him a bunch of cash, we'll be good. Easy clap. Only 400,000 yen. It honestly should be a lot, right? But we know from this egregious debt, which we assume at this moment is his, which only makes it more heartbreaking to see what he has left and where he lives. Now, regularly, 70,000 yen is pretty good, but there are even more egregious debts to be paid off, which drops his pay to a measly 1,800 yen. We then learn this shouldn't even be happening to Denji. This was his dad's debt. Like, my god, Fujimoto, if you were going for one of the saddest openings to a manga ever, you fucking nailed it. Which, I mean, it's clear he definitely was, and that is all because of Denji's character. Which, can I just say, is fucking amazing. Like, Fujimoto does so well showing how much shit Denji is going through, and yet, the poor guy doesn't even want that much. He just wants to have a nice meal every day and be loved by a girl. Fujimoto does an amazing job with making Denji relatable. No matter where you are now in life, at one point you were probably down in the dumps because of a girl and you just wanted to be loved, right? You as a reader understand Denji a lot right here, because even in real life we can all relate to that feeling of wanting to be loved. And damn it, Denji needs it more than anybody right now. Now, let's talk about Denji and Pochita. It's honestly a very simple but effective relationship. So, if you haven't read Chainsaw Man and you just woke up to this playing on your TV after you passed out watching YouTube, trust me, I've been there. Let me get you caught up. In this world, there are things called devils. Now, devils are pretty much if you combine a Pokemon with a devil fruit. It's a devil from hell that was created by fear of a certain thing. If people are afraid of chainsaws, what do you get? Chainsaw devil. These are also known widespread around the world, so on the day of the burial of Denji's father, he runs into this chainsaw devil who is badly hurt. Denji offers it some of that good blood, and they form a contract. Denji saved him from death, so all he asks in return is to save him from this hellhole, which is how Denji became a devil hunter in the first place. Still though, as we know, even though it pays somewhat well, almost all of it goes toward the debt repayment. Even through that though, Denji and Pochita form a bond of companionship and are truly friends, which we can see very clearly through these shots where Denji is holding on to Pochita while trying to sleep, and when Pochita is looking truly worried for his friend when he's coughing up blood, because of a condition passed on to from his mother. This setup is very much needed for the conclusion of this chapter, which, speaking of, let's get into it. So pretty much Denji is told there's a devil he needs to kill by the Yakuza, or Yakuza, whom Denji's father owed the egregious debt to. Turns out the Yakuza made a deal with another devil, which hates devil hunters, to get paid, so this was all a trick to kill him. Watching this poor boy get brutally murdered by this devil and its zombies is honestly just super sad. This poor guy who was just wanting to pay off his old man's debt and whose only dream in life was to be loved and eat decent meals was torn to shreds just for some extra cash. But remember our boy Pochita, let's go! He loves Denji. This is his best friend, so he makes a contract. As long as Denji shows Pochita his dreams, he'll give him his heart. So Denji was resurrected, and now he needs to do only one last thing. Kill every single bastard who gets in the way of his and Pochita's dreams. Now holy shit, this manga, boys, it kinda beautiful, like oh my god. Seeing Denji just go fucking berserk in his chainsaw mode, or form, whichever one you want to call it, is just fucking amazing. It's fucking great. There isn't really too much to comment on about it, but it is very well laid out panel-wise and super cool to see. Now we come to these last few shots, where we see an interesting woman with an interesting nose, with an interesting group known as the Public Safety Devil Hunter. Denji in his chainsaw form asks this girl to hold him, which she very easily complies to. Chainsaw form is practically whisked away, and we are not just left with Denji talking to a girl for the first time probably, and she is offering to shelter him, as well as give him actual meals. Of course, Denji's going to accept. So we pick up chapter 2, it seems, right after Denji's massacre. Denji's in the car with Makima, and his stomach begins to growl. Makima notices this and offers to buy Denji breakfast. Now, Denji, who hasn't had a decent meal for who knows how long, is now being offered breakfast by this gorgeous girl. Obviously it's made out to be funny, but when Denji exclaims he's in love with this girl, he more than likely means it, honestly. Right off the bat as well, this does seem to be our love interest, and we've seen this multiple times in other shonens. You know, obviously you want to introduce the love interest early for most series, but Fujimoto takes it to another level with Denji in this series that it just fucking blows my mind. So it won't be for another few videos from what I remember, but just keep it in the back of your head and like just whoo Fujimoto whoo. Anyway, back on track. Soon after Denji and Makima arrive at the diner, a man is panicked, saying his daughter was abducted by a devil and taken into the woods. So obviously Makima's going to throw Denji right into the fire. I mean, she's already seen what he's capable of, but I think she does this to see how obedient Denji really is. Or if not, at least try to point home to him that he is her pet. Now, I'm not going to go over every single detail in this chapter, but the main point I want to take away here, and the main talking point I want to talk about here, is Makima. At this point in the story, Makima in such a short time makes quite an interesting and unique impression on me. I honestly felt while reading this, I could tell she was going to be unlike anyone else we met in the story without knowing anyone else. The way Fujimoto draws Makima, I mean, bro, she just has such a demeanor about her. I've never seen this in a character from a series before. The way she looks at Denji as if they're the only two in the room, it's almost seductive in a sense. But then she can flip a switch like that and then become intimidating like an entirely different person. Whilst Makima isn't my favorite character in the series, she is by far the most intriguing. And going back and reading this, I'm very intrigued how I learn more about her character going through the story again, because like, man, it's insane. Now the devil fight between Denji isn't too crazy, besides showing the reader how conniving these devils can get. But other than that, it doesn't do too much for Denji until he comes back to the restaurant. We learn that Denji loses a lot of blood when in chainsaw form. Now the last thing I want to point out in this chapter again relates to Makima. Once Denji is done eating the soggy udon, Denji straight up asks her what type of guy she likes. All she says is someone like Denji, which brings confusion to me in a good way. At first she says she just sees him as a pet, but now she likes him? I really want to know how much of this she truly means, because while she seems genuine in her reply, well, with this girl I just don't know. She could say this, but even hate him, I don't even know. Honestly, it's insane. Makima's just a character I cannot put my finger on at this moment in time, and I'm so ready to see where like her character leads. So chapter 3 picks up with Denji still in the days about Makima showing affection towards them, and they end up at the Tokyo headquarters for Devil Hunters. I find it funny that as Makima is trying to explain all this important stuff to Denji, he's just off in his own world thinking about spending more time with Makima. This pretty much is his driving factor throughout the entire series. I'll be ever changing so slightly in each arc. Next up we meet Best Girl, Hayakawa, who I love, and we learn the worst thing imaginable. Denji will not be working with Makima to his dismay, but with Best Girl, Hayakawa. But Makima does give Denji some inspiration, and we're off on patrol. Now here I'm going to focus on Hayakawa's character and his relationship with Denji. Hayakawa is actually an interesting case to me. You can't tell much about him until he starts fighting Denji. Hayakawa explains to us that people who are here just for the money get killed. He exclaims you have to have a strong conviction. He says this in a way where I believe he believes that. He probably more than once has seen people come into this line of work just to have an easy life who don't make it far at all. He thinks he knows how Denji is going to end up just because he wants to get Makima. He thinks that Denji doesn't have a strong conviction. Which is why it's amazing when Denji just gets up and kicks him right in the nuts. Now obviously if you read the manga, it spells it out for you. Denji's conviction is wanting to be with Makima. And just being treated like an actual person was all he ever wanted. Which we know is true thanks to chapter 1. I find it funny as well that I think Hayakawa did speak truth in his words about conviction, but then again, he also has a crush on Makima as well. I think it's great because it shows he's human, and you probably would do the same thing if you had a crush on a girl and wanted the competition gone. Now, the only other things I want to bring up in this chapter is that we now learn that if Denji does ever quit being a devil hunter, he will be put down as a devil, which may lead to interesting situations down the line. And it also appears that Makima saved Hayakawa as well at one point in his life. Obviously not in the same sense as Denji's, but in a way that probably led him to crushing on Makima in a similar fashion. So we finally did it. Denji is now living with Hayakawa and he is living his best life. Not eating shitty food, actually being able to take a bath, and even being able to use the bathroom. We get to see Denji actually live like a person here, and it is super nice to see. Now this chapter for stuff I actually want to talk about it's going to be pretty short. All we need to know for the purpose of this review is that whenever a devil takes over a dead human's body, it is known as a fiend. I love when Denji and Hayakawa have to go kill a fiend for a mission, because Denji doesn't go chainsaw for him. He instead hacks his head off with an axe. He says he doesn't want to use a chainsaw for him because he says it looks like it hurts a lot for the devil. Or for the fiend in this case. Hayakawa was very upset at this because we learned that his family was killed by a devil, which probably led to his run-in with Makima. But Denji knows there are good devils too, and exclaims to Hayakawa that he doesn't have any friends. So if there was a good devil, he'd be friends with it, which we know from chapter 1. This shows the clash of two viewpoints here, which I love. One where life was torn apart by a devil, and one where life was saved. Lastly for this chapter, of course, we had to talk about power. Her opening here is short, but loud. You can tell exactly the person she is going to be. All we know about her right now is that she's a fiend and she's going to be Denji's buddy. And well, looks like they're going to be an interesting duo. But hey, we'll find that out next week when we tackle the Bat Devil arc. So here we are, guys. We just finished our first review. I just want to say it in the video. Obviously, welcome to the channel. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please do leave me a like and subscribe. We'll be doing this once a week. It'll be every Wednesday. There'll be no set time though, so do me a favor, subscribe, ring the bell so that way you always get notified because YouTube's a little sus about that. And boys, let's go on this journey. I'm super excited for this. And if you guys have any like criticisms or anything, please do leave them down below. Comment. Hey, if you guys thought, Nick, that was stupid, that's not what happened at all, leave me down below. I would love to discuss this with you guys, and yeah, this is just an awesome opportunity for me to do, and hope you guys enjoyed. I love doing this. It was a lot of work. It took a lot of time and effort to writing the script, to editing it all, putting it all together. It was really tough, but it was a lot of fun. And hopefully I'm able to continue at this pace once a week. I might do anime reviews as well. Well, I'm planning to do anime reviews, but I might do them at the same time. I'm not for sure yet, though, because these take around this probably took me around 4 to 5 hours to fully do with writing the script and stuff like that, editing it all, if not more. I didn't really count. It was a lot of work, though, and so I don't know if I could do 2 videos at a time in a week, but at least once a week you'll be getting this, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Like the video or dislike it and let me know. I would love to see, because obviously I still see dislikes, so it's all appreciated. And yeah, just subscribe for more amazing content. Hopefully it's amazing. This has been Nick. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.